Welcome to this operations management tutorial video on production order quantity. In this video we're going to show you how to compute or calculate the optimal production order quantity given a set of data. We also want to point out that the production order quantity model is very similar to the economic order quantity model which you learned earlier. The main difference is the production order quantity model assumes a gradual buildup of inventory, whereas with the EOQ model all the inventory is received at the same time with each shipment or each order. We also want to highlight how important lowering setup costs is to the implementation of just-in-time practices, and we'll use this graphic to illustrate this point. If we can lower the setup cost, then we will shift to the left the production order quantity. In other words, we can economically produce in smaller batches. And that means we can change from producing one product to another quickly, economically, and that makes us more responsive to customer needs. It also reduces our inventory and improves our quality. There's a lot of benefits that come from being able to reduce our order quantities. So again, the reduction of setup costs is the main enabler to the reduction of the production order quantity. Well, let's jump into Excel and talk about the example in the textbook. Well, here is our data which we've taken from the textbook with Ernie's Engines, who produces lawnmower engines for Lenny's Lawnmowers. And before we calculate the production order quantity, I want to first calculate how much time it takes to set up a production run. We are told that it costs $30 to set up a production run, and I've added this additional data point here. It is in the textbook but was not in the Excel sheet, so I've added it here, $12 per hour for setup labor costs. So if that's the case, our setup time is equal to the setup cost, as we see here in this formula, divided by the labor cost per hour for setup. And so it takes 2.5 hours to set up the production line to run engines. How much time does it take in minutes? Well, it's very simply the time in hours times 60 minutes. Okay, this is good information to have as we calculate the production order quantity, and then as we go to the next step, which is reducing the setup costs, or rather trying to lower the production order quantity. All right, the production order quantity is equal to the square root of 2 times the annual demand times the setup cost, close parentheses, divided by, open a new parentheses, the annual holding cost times, open another parentheses, 1 minus, open another parentheses, the daily demand rate divided by the daily production rate, close a bunch of parentheses now, make sure we have enough, and that gives us 200. With this set of data, it's most economical for Ernie to produce engines in batches of 200. Well, what if Lenny approached Ernie and said, "Hey Ernie, we want you to ship engines to us in batches of 40 and not 200. Can you do that?" Well, Ernie would have to go back and see what it would take in a reduction of setup costs in order to economically produce engines in batches of 40. So for this we would go to GoalSeek, we would click on the Data tab, What If Analysis, GoalSeek, and we want to set this cell, the production order quantity cell, to a value of 40 by changing our setup costs. We click on that cell. Setup time would go from 2.5 hours to about 1/10 of an hour, which would be about 6 minutes. Again, this shows how if we can reduce the setup time significantly and setup costs, that this is an enabler to reducing the production order quantity. Well, I hope this video is helpful to you as you attack the production order quantity homework problems.